Dun, dun, dun. Atma Namaste, everyone. Atma Namaste. Christian R. Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Sunday evening. Oh my, 2 live streams in one day. What is happening in our world? Well, sorry guys, had some messages going on. So, earlier today, I was wearing one of my favorite t-shirts, and some of you probably have made observations of like, whenever I see Christian wearing a t-shirt, he's usually wearing a t-shirt that represents, what's going on, Tim? Atma Namaste. He usually wears a t-shirt, Leanne, always on, that has something to do with Colorado. Hey Mary, Atma Namaste. Carlton, Atma Namaste. So, guess what? I was wearing one of my favorite Beaver Creek Colorado t-shirts earlier today, and we did the Twin Hearts meditation live. Hopefully you were able to log on. If you weren't able to log on for live, it's still below this video as a replay, and it's an hour long where we basically talk about what the Twin Hearts meditation is, how you can benefit from it. We do some physical exercises, some breathing exercises, the actual meditation, and then a little bit of discussion afterwards. So Leanne says, I missed the Twin Hearts meditation as I was asleep. That's true because you are 15 hours, right? 15 hours ahead of me. So I watched it then when I woke up. Awesome. Mary, Mary, Mary. Atma Namaste. How are you guys? So there was a hole in my shirt. I think it was from all the exercising. So I put a hole in the arm, and now I got to throw out one of my favorite shirts. One of my favorite t-shirts. And you guys are like, why is he wearing these t-shirts anyways? Shouldn't he be wearing like a nice collared shirt? Well, because when I was originally doing this, hey Ava, Atma Namaste, whenever I was traveling around Colorado mountain towns, I would always stop and get a really soft, fuzzy, beautiful little t-shirt to remind me of the trip and the person that I did that trip with. So I have like 12 different Colorado shirts. Leanne says I need to learn how to sew. No, it's metaphorical. It's the letting go of the past. It's dissolving of the old version of myself and going into the new and improved version. Which leads me into tonight's stream. Are you a healthy striver? Did I put striver or thriver? I meant to put striver, which is kind of ironic about what we're going to talk about. So are you a healthy striver or are you a perfectionist? And so some of you may be familiar with the author Brene Brown, who became famous, which is funny because somebody's texting me right now as I'm doing this live stream that I need to get my shirt measurements because he's having a specialized shirt made for me for some purpose. I don't exactly know what it is. So anyways, I have to get shirt measurements. If anyone knows how to do shirt measurements, that would be amazing. So, I'm getting all these messages while I'm trying to do a live stream with you guys, so my apologies. So Brene Brown became famous on Oprah by talking about confidence. And then she, was a very good author, sold millions of copies, and then she's come out with another book. It was basically confidence and shame is what she was specializing in. And so a very good friend of mine just sent me a clip of another episode of Brene Brown being on Oprah, and she was talking about the difference of a healthy striver and a perfectionist. And I think this is a really good point for you guys, the listeners, and how you may be showing up in your own life and how you can kind of show up in a bigger, brighter, more awesome way. So a healthy striver is somebody who is motivated intrinsically to do something or to not do something, right? They want to be fit for themselves. I mean, they want to go to the gym for themselves. They want to have a clean and organized house for themselves. They want to do a great job at work for themselves. So they're intrinsically motivated, right? But a perfectionist, somebody who still wants all of those same things. Hey Sarah, Atma Namaste. The perfectionist is somebody that does everything either for the validation and the recognition of another person or a group of people, or they don't do something out of fear of judgment, criticism, and rejection. Does that make sense? So if you look at your life and you go, well, I want to do this, I want to do a good job at this, are you doing it because you're deeply touched, moved, and inspired to do a good job at that? Or are you doing a good job at that so you can get the approval and not the rejection of another person? Because think about that. You could literally, because people do it all the time, you could literally live your entire life trying to appease and satisfy and receive the approval of other people. So your happiness is literally in the hand of another person. That's not very rewarding, right? So I just learned about this talk 5 minutes ago, and here I am talking to you guys about it. Not because I'm new to this. What's up, Laura? Namaste. Not because I'm new to this subject matter of shame, guilt, worthiness, perfectionism, intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. These aren't new topics to me, but I've never spoken about them before. Hey, Janine, Namaste. I've never spoken about them before. But I'm trying to demonstrate to you guys that you don't have to have everything perfect in order to add value to the lives of other people, in order to expand yourself. And what do I mean by expansion? Expanding your emotional body, expanding your mental body. So when you have those really tough, hard conversations with other people, you're getting a beautiful opportunity to expand your emotional body. Some of the best people that have the most flexible emotional bodies are actors and actresses, because they have to be super happy one moment and then super depressed another moment, and then a lot of enthusiasm and elation, and then a lot of confusion and despair, all within a matter of a few moments. So they're constantly stretching, they're expanding and contracting. Hey Danny, Namaste. They're expanding and contracting their emotional body like this. So actors and actresses are some of the most skilled people when it comes to expanding their emotions and mastering their emotions. Because if they didn't master their emotions, and we go to the movie theater and we watch them on the big screen, or we watch them at home on the DVD on our computer, hey Christine, Namaste, it's not believable, right? So then another way you can stretch yourself is mentally. So learning new ideas, exposing yourself to new belief systems, new religions, new spiritual practices, new ways of looking at the world, new areas of knowledge and expertise that is above and beyond your current skill level. So learning a language, learning an instrument, learning how to meditate, learning about a certain religion, learning about a certain culture. Right? All of these things that we can do expands our mental capacity. So we can expand our mental capacity by learning new things. We can expand our emotional capacity by putting ourselves in maybe not so comfortable situations. And I can say this wholeheartedly from myself, my life experience, as well as working with clients over the years, is when people throw themselves into an uncomfortable situation that they know will improve their quality of life, like making that extra phone call, sending that uncomfortable email, sitting down and having that uncomfortable conversation. If you're coming from the intention of, this is an opportunity for growth, this is an opportunity for personal development, this is an opportunity for me to get out of my comfort zone, each and every time somebody does that, they win. It's a win, 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 right? I mean, think about the time that you were most terrified to do something. Approaching somebody for business, approaching somebody for a relationship, jumping out of an airplane, singing in front of people like karaoke, maybe a sports competition. Think about the thing that you were most terrified of doing. The most terrified thing that you can think of over the course of your life, whether it's 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or 50 years. And at the end of you stretching yourself and getting outside of your comfort zone, was it worth it? Hey, Lorraine, Namaste. Was it worth it? And I can almost guarantee each and every one of you who went outside your comfort zone and stretched yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally, and even spiritually at times, it was a win for you. And it was probably a win for the other person. But how many times do we have regret? We see the opportunity and we don't take advantage of it. And then we go, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And it never materializes. Right? So my encouragement for each and every one of you who are watching live, as well as the people who watch the replay, is, does being a perfectionist serve you? Now again, a perfectionist, the distinction, it's not about doing a good job or doing the job well or trying to add value through your product, your service, or your idea in your personal life and your professional life. It's, am I doing it to get the approval? Davyani, Amma Namaste. Am I doing it to get the approval of someone else or someone else's? So Brene Brown, in her interview with Oprah, was making a very interesting point. So the night that she was being interviewed, or with Oprah, her son was starting, I think, 2nd grade the next day. And she was having anxiousness around if the right clothes were laid out, if the right snacks were laid out, if he had all of his little pencils and pens and notebooks and backpack and all that stuff, because it's not because she wanted to have the intrinsic value of having her son have a great first day at school. It was, what are all the other parents going to think about me, or what are his friends going to think about him, which will reflect upon me. So even a person who's teaching this stuff and lives and breathes this stuff day in and day out still is learning, is still processing. People have a very false assumption that if they see a great spiritual teacher, a great business leader, a great motivational teacher, somebody who is quote unquote an expert in their field, they make the assumption that that person is without flaw, right? Which is not accurate. Every single human being on this planet has weaknesses, limitations, negative tendencies, because it's called being a human, right? So we have to practice discernment. We have to take the wheat from the chaff. Is that how it goes? The wheat from the chaff. When we talk with people, when we interact with people, it's like, hey, this guy has his finances totally together, but his marriage is literally falling apart at the seams. Okay, Rashmi, Amma Namaste, good to have you back on. What can I learn from this particular person about finances, right? Or you see somebody who has an amazing relationship with their significant other, but their physical health is falling apart at the seams. So what will you listen to them on? You can listen to them about how to have a healthy, functioning, proper relationship, but you might not want to take their advice or their counsel on health and fitness. So it's our job as individuals to practice discernment, because, for instance, you guys know that for 13 plus years now, I've been a professional energy healer, a meditation teacher, and I share the teachings of my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Kuksui, of pranic healing or Hatha yoga and higher teachings, to benefit other people so they can have a higher quality of life, so they can have more inner peace, more happiness, more wisdom, more clarity, more stillness, right? So you can look at my life and go, well, does Christian have these qualities? Is he qualified to teach me these things? And then you go from there. If I'm not qualified, if I'm teaching you about inner peace, but you see me hyper stressed out, angry, rageful at the world, you might not want to take my advice on how to have inner peace, happiness, and joy. Does that make sense? So you're not perfect. And the other people that you connect with and associate with, they're not perfect either. But that's okay. Your goal is to find the perfectionism energies, the value within that person, to see the light of the soul of the other person and go, what can I learn from this person? How can I benefit from this person? How can I serve this person? Right? And maybe you can't find a win-win. Maybe you can't find the solution, and then you just move on. By the way, the term win-win, I learned this officially in a coaching program called IPEC for my ex-girlfriend who was going through the coaching program. And I love the philosophy of